Tom had something new to worry about. Becky Thatcher was sick in bed. She did not come to school. Tom went to her house at night, but he didn't see her. He was afraid that she would die. He didn't play any games because nothing interested him. Tom became sadder and sadder. He didn't play with his friends. He didn't go fishing or swimming. The joy of life was gone. He had no reason to live in the world. Aunt Polly did not know what was the matter with Tom. She watched and watched Tom until at last she decided to try something she had read in a book. Since she believed everything she read, she thought the medicine would be good for Tom. She read something new, so she wanted to try it. Aunt Polly read about cold water treatments and tried that on Tom. One morning, she took Tom out to the yard and poured cold water over his body. Then she wrapped him in a wet cloth and put him in bed. Aunt Polly then tried hot water treatments. She put Tom into a hot bath, and Tom's skin became red and wrinkled. However, nothing seemed to work. Then Aunt Polly read about some medicine that was called painkiller. She took some of it herself, and it tasted like drinking fire. She decided that it would be good for Tom. She gave him a large spoonful of painkiller. This painkiller had a strong result. Tom felt like he was burning up inside. He jumped around the room as if a fire had been built under him. Aunt Polly knew that she had found the right thing. Aunt Polly gave a whole bottle of painkiller to Tom because he asked for it so often. She didn't know that he had not been taking it. He had been putting it into a crack in the floor. One day, while Tom was putting painkiller into the floor, Peter the cat came in and seemed to want some of it. "You don't want this, Peter," Tom said, and pushed the cat away. The cat came back. "It will make you very sick," Tom said, and pushed the cat away again. The cat came back, still wanting to take the painkiller. "Well, okay then," Tom said, and let the cat take as much painkiller as he wanted. Tom said to the cat, "I am a kind boy. I'm giving some to you because you asked for it. But if you don't like the medicine, remember that you asked for it." Tom opened the cat's mouth and put some in it. Peter let out a terrible screech. He jumped high in the air. He ran around the room, crashing into chairs and tables and breaking vases. He stood up on his hind legs and danced around. He rolled over and over. Aunt Polly came in and saw the cat finally jump high in the air and leap out the window, breaking vases and flower pots as he ran away. "What is wrong with the cat?" Aunt Polly said. Tom could not speak. He was rolling on the floor laughing. "Tom, what did you do to Peter?" Aunt Polly asked. Cats always do that to show their joy. When she looked at Tom on the floor, she saw some of the painkiller and knew what had happened. She pulled Tom up by his ears and hit him on the head. "Why did you give painkiller to the cat?" "Because Peter has no aunt to look after him," Tom said, rubbing the spot on his head where Aunt Polly had hit him. "No aunt," Aunt Polly said. "Of course cats don't have aunts. What has that got to do with it?" If he had an aunt, his aunt would give him strong medicine like that to burn his mouth and not think about his feelings. She would say, "Take this, it's good for you." She wouldn't care about his feelings, but only about making him better. Aunt Polly thought that if the medicine hurt a cat, maybe it hurt people too. "I was just trying to help you, Tom." "I know, Aunt Polly, and I was just trying to help Peter." He smiled at her. "Oh, Tom," Aunt Polly said, giving him a warm hug, "I won't give you any more painkiller or water treatments, or anything else. Go to school now and try to be good." Tom went to school. He stood at the gate, waiting. His friends asked him to come and play, but he said he was sick. He looked sick too. He felt better when he saw Jeff Thatcher, Becky's brother, come toward the school, but Jeff was alone. Tom watched all the girls come to school, but Becky was not with them. He went into the classroom and sat down at his desk. He looked out the window and saw one more girl walking toward the school. It was Becky. Tom ran out to the schoolyard. He shouted. He laughed. He ran past the other boys. He stood on his head. Becky didn't look at him. He ran closer to her, shouting. He threw a boy's hat over the school building. She still didn't see him. He ran right up to her and threw himself down at her feet. Becky turned away with her nose raised high in the air. "Some people," she said, "always want other people to look at them." She turned away and walked into the school. Tom stood up. His face was red. Everyone was watching. Tom walked away sadly from the schoolyard. His heart was broken again.